The August 12, 2020 meeting of the Long Branch City Council will now come to an order. Roll call.
Mr. Dangler?
Here.
Dr. Vogt?
Here.
Mrs. Wittes?
Here.
Dr. Selly?
Here.
And Mr. Viera?
Here. We will now do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
I hereby certify that this meeting has been published in the newspaper in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and posted as required by law.
Presentations, there are none. Reading and approval of the previous minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the July 22nd,
So moved.
2020.
So moved.
Roll call.
Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes.
And Mr. Viera?
Yes. Consideration of ordinance. Public hearing and final consideration, there's none. Ordinance for introduction, there's none. Public participation for resolutions and all general comments. I need a motion to open the public portion of the meeting for all comments.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? If any member of the public has any comments to make, please dial *9 on your phone, and a representative will call on you by the last 3 digits of your number. When you are called upon, state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes and may only speak once.
Caller whose phone number ends in 819. Go ahead.
My name is Michelle Douglas. My address is 170 Rockwell Avenue. This is regarding the conditions on the Troutman Creek Bridge connecting or on Joe Line Avenue. This area has been unmaintained for weeks, if not at least 2 months. I sent in a request to the city of Long Branch with photos because it has become a hazard. Children cannot walk across the bridge, nor can they ride, and they're forced into the street. So I want to find out when this area can be cleaned up, meaning the brush and shrubbery that is covering the sidewalks can be cleared. Because in fact, that road is very, very busy and congested, as we all know, because it's the main route to the beach, and it's forcing everyone into the street.
Thank you, Michelle. I'll let Public Works 10 know about it, and we'll get on it.
We'll have them, if it's a bunch of brush and shrubbery, we'll have it picked up tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes, it's a bunch of brush and shrubbery. I'm not sure if it's growing out of where the sewage is from underneath the bridge, but it's unpassable on one side and the other side is blocked. So if that can be attended to, please. My next question, I'm not quite sure if this is something that would be addressed here, but I know that you stream all of your meetings for the city council. Is it possible that the Board of Ed can stream theirs as well? Since at this point, meeting in person or going to those meeting in person is not, possible.
That question, you might have to ask the Board of Ed itself. You might have to go one of the meetings or give them a call. That we have no jurisdiction. Thank you, Michelle.
Okay. But yes, if you can please address the issue on Troutman Creek Bridge, thank you.
Take care of it tomorrow.
Take care. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Caller whose phone number ends in 385. Go ahead.
Good evening, this is Laura, Charlotte 52 Brook Drive. I understand under the executive session that you discussed the master plan. When are you scheduled to have the next public input session on the master plan?
The 22nd.
Tentatively, I believe on the 25th, but we'll, I don't think, Mary, we didn't post that yet, correct? Yeah, the tentative plan right now, Ms. Tarlow, is the 25th, and it's going to be similar. I think you were in on the last one. It's going to be a similar to that.
Thank you.
711. Go ahead.
Hi, this is Lori Dalton, 455 Atlantic Avenue. One quick question to start off. Do you know when the meetings will become in person for your meetings and the planning board meetings?
We don't have any.
Lou, do you know? Yeah.
No, I don't think that we've made that determination yet. I know that there's still a limit of 25 people indoors, so we're probably likely in this setup for a while.
Thank you. At the February 12th council meeting, there were several questions that were asked of you pertaining to the pool complex. At that time, you didn't have an answer. I was wondering if you have figured out what the fees would be to get in, adult price, senior price, student price, guest pass, season pass, also the transportation. I know you had discussed maybe bringing the trolley back and making a stop there. I was wondering if that has been discussed anymore and possibly put into use. I'd like to know how much it'll cost to maintain the pool. You stated it would not cost more than to run the beach. How much more is that? Like, what is the value of the tax abatement versus the value of construction cost of the pool? What's it going to cost to maintain? Have you found another spot for the adult baseball field? Go.
Well, I think that the issues with regards to what the maintenance costs are not to be determined yet. Obviously, the pool is just now under construction. As to, I think, the issue of what the fees that will be charged, that's really a 2021 budget issue. So that's when those issues will be resolved. So, I mean, you have a kind of a potpourri of other questions, and I think that probably some of them are still premature because we haven't gotten to those points yet.
I can tell you that the estimated cost of the pool was $2.1 million. I think we mentioned that at the last meeting. In turn,
Abatement.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
How much is the abatement we're giving?
Well, I don't know, maybe.
no, go ahead.
No, I don't think that those two things are equated. I think that to begin with, the tax abatement is part of a development, and that development is also paying taxes. So, you know, it's a 10-year tax abatement, but at the end of that 10-year tax abatement, it's a substantial positive cash flow to the city. So, part of the tax abatement was the economic incentive to get that project built, and part of it was to get a public benefit. So, as the mayor said, it's a $2.1 million. The cost savings to the city is $2.1 million, and of course, once you factor in what the tax rateable will be after 10 years and the payments that will be made, it's certainly a cash positive project for the city.
And as far
Because you're still going to have to maintain it once it's built, so the cost to maintain it has to be factored in as well.
Except
in
that,
order to say that it's a win.
except that, but prior to entering into this project, we discussed with other municipalities that have similar pool facilities, and in each and every one of those, the amount of, and they have very modest fees. The fees greatly outstrip the cost to operate and maintain the facilities. So the answer is that these facilities everywhere in the state that they operate at a positive cash flow. So they're actually not a drain. They're actually a positive.
And so I could answer a couple of your questions too. So to just go on with Mr. Raynone's point, yeah, we've made a couple of comparisons where, yes, in fact, they are profitable. The other advantage that the city of Long Branch has, obviously, is that we have lifeguards and recreation staff in place, and actually we cover almost all of the oceanfront condo associations. So I think I can tell you that the estimate for the maintenance of the pool in terms of lifeguards and staffing is about $25,000. But again, the positive thing here is there's 50 parking spaces. It's $2.1 million project. We have recreation staff, jobs for some of our high school students, as well as, all lifeguard positions in place. In terms of the question about the ball field, both myself and Mr. Jackson have talked to Dr. Salvatore about utilizing one of their fields at the Board of Ed, which is of the same size, and we're very thankful that he seems to be very accommodating to that.
Okay, my final question.
Time's up.
Since
I
you
think-
brought up
Miss-
Mr.
ma'am, I think-
Salvatore, 15 years ago, the city and the school system tried to build an aquatic
Ms.
center on the
Dalton, your
corner
time
of
is up.
Liberty and Union, but due to lack of cooperation, it didn't get built. Did we reach out to the public school to see if they wanted to go in on this and there in fact get an aquatic center? And why are we not using the property that they wanted to build it on at the corner of Union and Liberty, which is next door to Bucky James Park, community, across the street from the community center, next door to Jerry Morgan Park.
Ms.
That
Dalton.
has tennis court, playground, and basketball courts, and is across the street from a municipal parking lot that has way more than 50 spots.
Ms. Dalton, your time has expired, Ms. Dalton.
Bill,
Thank you.
go ahead.
I know we're out of time. I had left you my number. I think you still have it. Please call me if you want to, and I'd be happy to discuss this with you a lot further.
Thank you.
Caller whose phone number ends in 350. Go ahead.
Hi, Ernest McNulty, born in Long Branch. I live in Asbury Park. I'd like to start out with saying I filed a police report after the governor came to Long Branch, to City Hall, rained out, and to Brighton Avenue and Ocean Park. I filed police report number 20 LB 17162. It was a harassment endangerment complaint against Thomas Cisliano III. I gave a description of the vehicle, the things that were said, the harassment, and I have the police report. Now, as far as I'm concerned, it's going to be another cover-up, but I'm not going to say any more about it. Also, there's a Peter DeLisa, well-known in Long Branch. How much longer is this individual going to operate the way he does? For example, I don't know how many years ago, he applied to be a Long Branch police officer. He failed the psychological exam very, very badly, right? He then went to Florida somehow, became a Miami-Dade police officer, and was thrown off that police force. Then he went up to Bergen to be a prosecutor detective, and problems galore. He's out of there. Then he gets picked up by none other than the West Long Branch ex-cop Ross LaCitra, gone prosecutor, gone head of the ASPCA, gone hires DeLisa as an armed with a 9mm service weapon dog catcher, which he proceeds to go around and brandish and threaten people. Right now, look at this 9 event, N88 in Long Branch. You know what I'm talking about. President of the United States and the whole group came here. Look at his behaviors. In and out of these mansions, drinking, going around harassing people. They're in firehouses with flasks and whiskey, and they're bothering the Secret Service with their chief and other people, including the sheriff, and over there taking pictures of presidential helicopters when they're not supposed to. And they're in and out of the L. Brown School when they're not supposed to be. And they claim, we're on the list, we're on this, really? Drunken firemen? Drunken cops? How did they get on the list? And then look at the list. Look what went on that thing. Look what you did with the public beaches. Look what you're doing on a weekly basis with these beaches. Major COVID-19 violations. You're allowing mansion owners to close off private beaches. They're running fireworks. They're giving underage kids alcohol, whiskey, vapes, drugs. They're carrying on sex 24/7.
police won't do anything about it. Okay, that's that incident. And then you should investigate everything that went on the 8th and 9th in your city relative to your police chief, relative to his cooperation with the Deal police chief and others in terms of this political, obsessive, compulsive activities that are depriving the city of Long Branch of lawful law enforcement. Everything was allowed to go on. Illegal parking, people smoking weed in the streets, people drunk in the streets, people assaulting each other, knocking each other down, pre-riots. I mean, horrible profanities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, and of course, to add to all this, you have the biggest troublemaker of all, Mr. Dan Riddell of the Asbury Park Press and the Link, going around still character assassinating good residents of Asbury with BS. Nothing but character assassinations that the mayor, Mr. Pallone, you should be ashamed of yourself for letting Dan Riddell continue those sex slave stories. You want to talk about sex slave stories in Long Branch with cops, environment, and officials? Well, then let's get that on. Let's get it on, Mayor. Really? Well, why do you keep going after one guy who you abandoned now? You wouldn't have been elected without that school board superintendent, Mr. Farina, and look how you treat him now. You don't want to know him. You're a disgrace, Mayor, and your council's a disgrace. And the way you work with Jimmy Aaron and his control of the Asbury Park Press and the Link News is another disgrace. You should be outed for all this. And that law firm you have now does nothing about nothing. This law firm, Renault, is a waste. In some ways, by complicity, is worse than Ansel Grimarin. But what do? You keep him there. You got half your staff. Zuba's doing a terrible job. You won't fire him. Of course not. I don't think he ever passed the test. Everybody complains for years. He doesn't know what he's doing. You got the best guy known, look, sort of, whatever his name is, the number 2 guy. But no, you wouldn't give it to him because Barry Stein helped you get elected. Barry Stein is Zuba's best friend. You know, the politics you're playing, Mayor, you're getting outed for it. Let me continue. So this Peter DeLisa thing, you better do something about it. And Siciliano. Then you got this Moray, one of your cops, Frank Moray, who goes online everywhere claiming he's a Connecticut state trooper. He's this and that. You know what he is.
Mr. McNeil, thanks for your comments.
Caller whose phone number ends in 198. Go ahead.
Vincent Lepore, 33 Ocean Terrace, requesting 1-minute notification from the clerk. So this evening, to City Clerk Kathy Schmelz, RMC, your retirement from 40-plus years of active service with this city, it's going to be a hard act to follow. As the holder of city records, you, Ms. Kathy Schmelz, unquestionably did an admirable job as the main gear in keeping the machinery of the city government operating, especially during very turbulent times. And this compliment is coming from the city's all-time top Oprah requester, that being me. Your accommodating and helpful ways, your pleasant personality, your steadiness and efficiency were qualities that over the years have received the praise and respect of your coworkers, city employees, and city residents. As adversarial and I and others were to this city on many controversial issues, I would like to thank you, Ms. Kathy Schmelz, for the respect you always showed me and others throughout these many troubling years. May your new ventures in life be joyful and fulfilling. And most of all, Ms. Kathy Schmelz, that iconic smile of yours will be missed by me and everyone else. Ms. Kathy Schmelz, keep on smiling. Thank you. And to your assistant, Mary Moss, you'll make a fine clerk for the city of Long Branch. Now on to the bad stuff, as usual. At the last council meeting, in referencing the flawed assessment of oceanfront Joseph Jerome's Outlast LLC, 1055 Ocean Avenue, Elberon, I discussed how at the top end of the real estate market, the gap between true market value rises to as great as 100% of the actual assessment. Jerome being assessed at $15 million with a true market value of $30 million. The point being made is when a home's assessment deviates from true value, especially at the top end of the real estate market, it places an even greater tax burden on those homeowners that are assessed at full value. I also say now what I said then, that the assessments created under the Monmouth County Demonstration Program should immediately incorporate the methodology currently in place in New York City, which addresses the tax implications of fluctuations in assessments due to sudden spikes in recent home sale prices by employing a rolling average assessment based on assessments utilizing the preceding 3 years. That simple change would provide immediate property tax relief to homeowners by significantly easing the impact of surging home sales on their assessments. These changes would help to assure that generational homeowners in Long Branch will not have to deal with the chicanery that higher assessments will always yield a higher return on the sale of one's home. This is contrary to the aspirations of generational homeowners attempting to stay in their homes and survive in this city's current brutally destabilized tax base. Talking about these surging home prices, particularly in Elberon and West End, what's the Palone administration doing about the racketeering sales taking place? You're doing nothing. Palone, you're doing absolutely nothing. Just the way you did nothing when Solomon Dweck offered to give evidence of the illegal land sale wrongdoing concerning the infamous house of worship in the West End, which, by the way, you took, Palone, a $33,000 campaign contribution from, which resulted in a permitted use overlay. Not to mention the $80,000 in taxpayer money you used to prevent Solomon Dweck's deposition. You're dirty, Palone. Folks, these racketeering land sales will continue undeterred, costing the rest of the residents in this city increased assessments, resulting in increased taxes. To you, Palone, the dirt continues. I hope I've enlightened the people of this city to just how dirty you are.
Mr. Laporte, thank you for your comments.
Caller whose phone number ends in 384. Go ahead.
Yes, hi, good evening, and thank you for taking my call. This is Jeff Harlow of 52 Baruch Drive in the great city of Long Branch. Could you kindly give me some information on the status of the remediation of the contaminated site adjacent to Jerry Morgan Park? This is a New Jersey natural gas contamination, as you well know. This remediation was started around 2002. It's a huge property, enormous. It would be a great place for a very nice community pool complex. As you can imagine, much bigger than Pleasant Bay. I haven't been able to get any response from New Jersey Natural Gas, and I was just calling to find out what the status of this cleanup is. It's been going on for decades, you know. So if you could answer that, that would be great. Once again, thank you for taking my call.
Do we have any
Thank you, Mr. Tarlow. I know that, thank you, Mr. Tarlow. I'm just answering your question. The city signed an agreement with New Jersey Natural Gas to facilitate the remediation. My understanding is that it's going to take, I think, 36 months, but it allows the it allows the city to begin, it allows New Jersey Natural Gas to begin removing certain improvements that are there, to do the remediation and then put certain improvements back. Understand, of course, that property will have on it an environmental declaration, which would probably prevent the construction of something like a pool on the property. So I just want to make sure that's clear.
Okay.
Thank you, Council President.
No further callers.
All right, I need a motion to close the public participation portion of this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolutions, we can take the list of resolutions as a consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Dr. Roach?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yes.
And Mr. Viera?
Yes. Application, there's none. Miscellaneous business for the good of the order. Councilman Dangler?
Yes, thank you, sir. A couple things this evening. One, there's still ongoing concerns and questions about the pool and where it will be located, and possibly even, like tonight, over next to Jerry Morgan Park, or part of Jerry Morgan Park. I do believe that growing up over on Florence Avenue, in the Atlantic Avenue area, that that part of town also needs some redevelopment, something nice for the residents and certainly for the students and those who would like to just enjoy the pool, to be in another part of town instead of having everything centrally sort of located in one part of the city of Long Branch. My other comment and question is, on this past weekend, we were honored, if you will, to have the President of the United States in our area. But my question and concern is the police that was there, obviously, for coverage and protection and so on. But because this was a private event, I'm not understanding why we, the city of Long Branch, has to pay for the police as opposed to the resident or residents who held this event. Why were they not billed for the use of the police that were there from Long Branch? Because any other event like that, we would certainly bill the person who was having the event. And if it was on Pier Village, I could understand. It's right there in the city, and of course we would have to foot the bill. But because this was a private event, and I'm not discussing politics one way or the other, that's really not my concern. It's just, why are the taxpayers paying for a private event for police protection when the policemen could have been in other parts of the town, or certainly just bill the people who were having the event. And with that being said, continue to be safe and continue to wear your mask whenever possible and social distancing. Thank you very much.
Councilwoman Vogt?
Thank you. So first of all, as you know, this is our first night back in the council chambers for our meeting, and it feels good as one step in our recovery back to normal life. Wonderful to be together again. So the whole, with the whole idea of life coming back to normal, I just want to bring one thing to your attention of an announcement that I saw, and we see this every year about this time, and it's the community backpack school supply drive. I'm going to give this to the mayor's office tomorrow to post on the city website. But again, it's our usual annual drive. It's sponsored, has a number of sponsors, but it certainly is the Long Branch Recreation Department. And one other organization that I want to mention, it's the A-Step tutorial program that just does wonderful, wonderful work for our kids. And certainly Jacob's Ladder is also a sponsor, and a few other ones, Second Baptist Church. And as usual, we're looking for things that the kids need for school, be it notebooks, backpacks, glue sticks, crayons. It's all listed on the flyer that we'll have posted. And so please, I encourage everybody to support this as much as possible. There are wonderful organizations that are sponsoring this. And last, I want to actually join in with what Mr. Lepori said in recognizing someone who will be sorely missed from our organization, Kathy Schmeltz, as our city clerk, who has just done an amazing job for 40-plus years. She's a tremendous help to every administration, every one of us who has been here. So certainly joining in and wishing her the very best of a very happy retirement, very well earned and very well deserved. With that, stay healthy, and we will see you again in 2 weeks.
Councilwoman Witters?
Hi, good evening. I too would like to thank Kathy for all her years of service to the city. And I had the pleasure of working with her very closely my first year on the council and as the president of the council. It took a lot of time to adapt to different things, and she was extremely helpful to me. And, I got to know her, and I'm truly going to miss her, and I wish her nothing but health and happiness, and, that she has time to enjoy her family and rest and relaxation. I also would like to wish Dr. Selly a happy birthday coming up next week, and wish you many, many more years to come. And I would like to wish everyone to continue to stay safe, and hopefully you can enjoy the rest of the summer. And thank you for your patience with everything that's been going on. We know it's not easy for any of us, but have a good rest of the 2 weeks, and we will be with you soon. Thank you.
Vice President Selly?
Good evening, everybody. I have 3 very important things I'd like to talk about. First of all, if you notice, we all are wearing our masks. And I would ask that all of you, when you go out in the community, do us a favor and wear your mask, because you're not only helping yourself, but you're helping the people around you. Please don't forget to social distance. I've been down at the beachfront, and I'll tell you, I don't think the young people know what social distancing is. They don't know what 6 feet is. But please, be careful when you do that. And my next comment is, stay safe, everybody. That's it.
Mayor Pallone?
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to thank Mr. Lepore, actually, for his really nice tribute to City Clerk Schmeltz. Well said. I've known Kathy for 30 years, actually, and have worked very closely with her in the last 10, for 8 as a city council, and for the last 2 in my position here as mayor. And she's always been just very helpful there for not only us on the council and the administration, but for every resident who's come up to speak with her. So she'll be deeply missed, I think, by all of us, and I just want to wish her well with whatever she continues to do with the rest of her life. A couple of things I just would like to mention. This week, we announced recreation activities that we'll be offering our Long Branch residents starting next week, August 17th. As the summer months continue, we wanted to do something for our youth that was both safe and fun. So we teamed up with our recreation department to bring you some great August activities such as fishing, yoga, kite flying, and more. All of these activities will take place in the next 2 weeks, are free, and most important, they follow all social distancing regulations, and masks will be required. Like I said, they'll be every night from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at locations all around the city. And I want to stress that we have a very limited number of people that we can take for each program, and some of them have actually already filled up. I think we first announced this at the beginning of the week. To see a full list of the activities, please go to our social media pages or website at longbranch.org. To sign up, you can call the Recreation Office at 732-571-5645, or email Shannon Bruno at sbruno, that's sbruno, SBRUNO, at longbranch.org. It's our way of finding something fun for the children to do this summer while trying to be as safe as possible. And we've already decided that we're going to try to do the same thing or some different programs in September as well. Also later this month, we'll be offering a social distant event for our seniors. We look forward to slowly welcoming back our senior population to activities in and outside our center. And so for more information, we'll have that about very soon. Many of you may know we've started the renovation of the Bank of America building on Branchport and Broadway. It's a beautiful space, and we look forward to the completion of that project and for the arts usage in that building, as well as the new home for our Economic Development Office. And finally, you may notice some of the beautification efforts that are taking place around Long Branch. And one in particular will continue at New Jersey Transit within the next couple of months. You may notice that there's been some painting there. It's very slow. But this includes new painting, new trees, new planters, new lighting. And that's, again, thank you all for calling in this evening, and have a great week.
Thank you, Mayor. And I also like to thank Kathy for all the work she's been doing with us. I've really been working with her for the last 2 years, especially the last couple of weeks. And Mr. Lepore said he explained everything pretty much what needed to be explained. And I wish her nothing but luck and happiness in her next journey. Kathy, good luck. And to Mrs. Selly, happy birthday for next week. Happy birthday, and maintain your social distance, and good night. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good night.